Hello, everyone. Welcome again. How's everyone doing today? We have a lot to talk about today, like a lot. So please bear with me because I'm on YouTube and Facebook. The YouTube channel is The Handler at Salty Coffee Podcast. That's the YouTube handler. I don't know what else to tell you. And the for those of you who are watching on Facebook and YouTube, we're also on Stereo app. So if you haven't downloaded the Stereo app yet, I don't know what to tell you. All right, let me figure this out here first, and then we're gonna do a little prayer and a little bit of moment of silence for a couple of few family and friends, and for all of those who have a beloved one in a new world, in a new place, with new journey. All right. Today, as words weave through the air, let us pause. Let us hold space for the lives touched by tragedy, for the voices that once laughed, sang, and dreamed. In the quiet, we remember. We honor those harmed in the Santo Domingo nightclub collapse and all the souls who have journeyed beyond our reach. May this silence be a bridge, a whisper of love, a breath of remembrance, a promise that they are never forgotten. Let us stand together in grief, in love, and in memory. Sister Crystal, Shandalulu, Teresa, and let's do a minute of silence. Sorry. Welcome back. I'm back. Um, for those of you who are on stereo, I'm only going to be on stereo till 12. And then we're going to continue through YouTube. We'll take a couple of breaks because it's 5 years. 5 years of content, 5 years of getting to meet new people, getting to embrace, network, share, travel with. So it's a lot. And then we'll go into the poetry contest, which is going to be a great, great show. We have Spanish poems, and I'm going to go over the poems and the winners from previous years. It's a lot. And I would have to say that I'm proud because everything you're going to see on YouTube has been created, produced, broadcast. Everything has been done by me, by myself. The videos, the music, everything. I didn't necessarily produce the music, but I did, in fact, the website, all of that has been by myself. And in some way, some form, that was the whole idea of the podcast, was to share with people that you can really do it yourself. Most of these things for marketing, most of these networking parties and stuff like that. Speaking of networking parties, I was looking over the history of the Salty Coffee podcast. So let me just share with you that the first podcast was okay. No, I know I wrote this stuff, but it was I started on Anchor. But let me just start with any messages that you want to leave now. Leave it now. I'm gonna play this one message, and then again, Faith, thank you for being here. Shonda Lulu, Sister Crystal, my repeat offenders here on Stereo app. Thank you so much for supporting me throughout this whole time. Always listening, always paying attention, and I appreciate you. I really do.
Hola, hola, Cafe Salo y Sabado. Grand finale, Salty Coffee Podcast. Yay! I'm here and congratulations. I'm here and listening. I'm kind of sad saying this is the finale, but on to more things. And yes, condolences to all the families, and also condolences to you, Salty Coffee. And it's great that you commemorate your mom in this way. So I'm here and I'm listening, and let's on with the annual poetry Salty Coffee contest. Yay!
Thank you, Sister Crystal. You're the bomb. You're the best. And I appreciate you all the time for just being there, being available for sharing everything, collaborating, communicating with the Self-Care Sundays, your thoughts, your ideas, and your plans on living a healthier life. And I appreciate you always. So I started the podcast in 2020. My first episode ever was pretty much welcoming and opening the podcast, because that's what you do in the podcast world. You have, you introduce yourself. And then there were little short ones, very small in 30 minutes, 20 minutes. But I started my podcast as a true podcast through Anchor. Anchor was a free platform where you actually got paid for every time someone, would hit your podcast. So I wasn't very familiar with the marketing part or making money out of it until later on. And I realized that if I just stay on Anchor, how am I going to get listeners? I don't know I didn't know how the algorithm worked at that time in 2020. But the objective of the podcast was to help my coworkers who were losing their jobs and people in general, our community, because we were isolated and told to quarantine or to stay at home. As an essential employee who was out there, it was important for me to give out this information to family and friends of what was really going on out there in the workforce or in the streets, if you will, while everybody was, home, taking care of children, working from home. It was important for me to share any information that was possible. So how to get the word out to people who were not necessarily my friends and family, I had to explore and see what was out there. So in 2020, I had a total from, I think I started in maybe March, around there. I ended up with 41 episodes, just chopping them all off. And I'm just going to give you the numbers for each year. In 2021, I had 54 episodes. Those were a little bit still on the, helping other people, giving out information, letting them know what's out there, letting them know how to figure things out, if you will. And in 2020, a little bit before, I immediately knew that I wanted to have a poetry contest in memory of my mother's passing, but also what was happening to me at the time. So, my mother passed away when I was 19, my first year of college. So I really didn't have, funds or anything like that. So the poetry contest is a little bit to at least try to help and give information out to people who would have been in the same situation. And I do know that for COVID in 2020, this was real for a lot of young ladies who may have been in their first year of college or even in high school, who may have lost a parent, a guardian, or someone who they really loved and was unable to navigate the system and how to maintain, just in general, how to survive, who to look for. But it seems like a lot of people now in 2020, they do have family members. Parents are more aware of how to make sure that they have their wills or their benefits in place. And that was very helpful to learn that people in situations like this, they did have a way of getting information and resources for help. And I'm glad that 35 years later, this is not something that young people are going through, where they have to struggle or have a public assistance worker tell them that the only way they can get help is if they have a baby or become pregnant. Like, that's not the solution to a problem. But yeah, that's what I was told when I was 19. So I want you to be aware, make sure that you understand that in 2020, for the most part, a lot of people may have forgotten what has happened since 2020. I have not forgotten. I have not forgotten what happened in September 11. I have not forgotten what happened to me in 1989 when my mother passed away. April 12th. She was declared deceased on April 12th of 1989. So 2021, I have 54 episodes. 2022, I have 55 episodes. And right around 2022, when I started to meet more people, build more platforms, and networking more with other people, I ended up learning more ways to get more people to listen, but that wasn't really my point ever. My point was never to have 1,000 listeners, followers, 10,000. My objective was always to help, even if it's one or two people, just for them to understand how the system works, what benefits we have for certain things that we do, and how to really read your contractual agreement, whether you're in a union or not, at work, what it is to be an entrepreneur, and how much work it is to be an entrepreneur. Being an entrepreneur is not easy. It takes a lot of work. So that was really always been my purpose. My purpose has never been to make money. It's just to provide, to go to these places where I'm able to get free resources, to take courses for free, and to then share with other people, or to travel and to share my travel experience with other people who are not able to do that, whether that's because they have a medical condition that provides, not provides, but a medical condition that prevents them from doing so. In 2023, I had 33 episodes. And by 2023, this was a time where I was trying new things. I was trying to see if I can have a co-host. That obviously didn't work. I was trying to also live my personal life. And living my personal life required, you know, getting to know someone, getting to experience how they are. And that's a lot of work. That in itself is a lot of work. So as a single mom, single person, from the Bronx, it's been very difficult. It has not been easy, but I do want to say that it's doable. If you know how people say, if I can do it, you can do it too. I'm going to pretty much say that. If I can do it, then you can do it too. There's when I hear other people say that, I'm thinking to myself, there's a reason why they say that. The reason why they say that is because only they understand their own struggle, right? So there's certain things that you just cannot teach other people. You can't teach ambition. You can't teach motivation. You can't teach. So you can only give that as an example. You can only show people what you've done and how you've done it, and then that's it. It's really up to the other person whether they're going to take it or not. So you can't really force people to do certain things, and that's okay. But you can, by proving them that you've done it and you've identified your own definition of success, then that's your success. For a lot of people, it could mean a lot of different things. So I don't see this grand finale as an unsuccessful podcast, because deep down inside, I know whose lives I've inspired, I've motivated, and I've changed just by sharing the little things that we go through every day. So in 2024, I had 32 episodes. So in 2020, I just basically started with Anchor. I was trying to just really use my voice of understanding what it is that I know, and to try to listen more instead of speaking more. So in 2020, even though I was going through Anchor, in 2021, I was exploring different things. How can I engage people to listen to my podcast? Of course, you want people to listen, even if it's just one or two. I'm good with that, because what I share may not be interesting for other people. And it's funny because a lot of people will then come later on and like, I didn't know you interviewed this DJ. I didn't know you interviewed this Queen of Soul from Mississippi. I didn't, and that's just how it works. So I went through phases throughout the podcast. But in 2021, I was like, how do, it seems like people want to see your face. They want to see your face. And I was kind of hesitant about that. So I joined to sell Mary Kay products. And I did very well. I made a lot of money. I've met a lot of people. And that's what gave me the courage to go out and use my skills that I learned by selling a product to sell pretty much salty coffee. But still, I was into the shy moments. I was not really into the aesthetics of my podcast. I really, really wanted to just share information, not necessarily educate people, but share the information so that it can open their mind that there are a wide range of things and different resources and aspects that women can do, or that's available for women to be able to just do what they have to do to provide for their family, but more importantly, provide for themselves. So by 2022, I was on YouTube, Anchor, Radio Public, Breaker, voila, the Stereo app. Even though I was into the Stereo app when it first came out, I wasn't really doing any content. I was just pretty much a listener. But by 2022, I started doing some. I was on Twitch, Facebook. I started my LLC. I was beginning to learn a little bit more about business, but how business worked with podcasting and how to monetize. That was just a learning experience for me. I was never on for this to be monetized ever. Hello, Zakil. How are you? We're also on the Stereo app for those of you who just walked in on YouTube and Facebook. We are on the Stereo app. So I'm speaking to my fans over there. Ms. Faith, Shonda Lulu, Sister Crystal, and Teresa. Thank you for still hanging in there. In 2023, I was I met this group of people, the ANN Alliance something news. Sorry. Um, you'll see some videos that when I interviewed them, but it's pretty interesting that I interviewed the ANN crew. They have now moved to Clapper and to Roku. They're on Roku. They have their own network, and congratulations to them. But yeah, and then I met this beautiful P2G Networks family with Breakfast with the Thomases right here on stereo. And I pretty much begged and knocked on the door, banged on the door like, hello, can I just get an interview with the lady, Miss Ruby? But you know, it was hard. I was trying really hard to dig in there. And guess what? We never had an interview. We never had an interview, which was interesting and funny at the same time. I don't think her concept, the way she sees networking, is different from podcasting. In podcasting, you really need to do your research on the people that you interview. You really need to study them. And so that was something that I was doing in 2022, following into 2023. I was just listening to people and learning them and understanding what their mindset was so that I can then interview them and ask them the questions that I felt needed to be asked, to explore, to share with other people what those guests were doing. And I pretty much did really good because at one point I was only interviewing female DJs. At one point I was only interviewing people who sold products. I did a couple of networks on, women empowerment, how we can remember those days when there were people on Facebook selling jewelry for $5. You know, those, I don't know if they call those MLMs, but those were the days that we were trying to figure out. Women are always engaging in a way to figure out how to make money. And I think it's just a beautiful thing when we can get together collectively. And I think that's why women have been successful in the mindset of what it is to be successful. I think by empowering each other that we can do it is more important than how much money we're making. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, because at the end of the day, really, if you're proposing a service or you're proposing a journey, or you're sharing, you're wanting to be an influencer, let's just say that, which I don't consider myself an influencer. I just consider myself someone who will practice what I'm preaching, for sure, for sure. I'm not gonna create content where I have not been in that place. I don't feel comfortable speaking of something that I have no idea what I'm talking about. So I think that's why 2023, I also opened my eyes to two platforms, one called Wisdom and the other one called Station Head. I think when you include music into your brand, it creates more people to listen to you, right? Um, but at the same time, if you're all over the place and you don't have a set standard for your podcast, it can also just go down. But again, my objective was never to um, make money out of this. It really was not to do that at all, ever. And while some people may say, well, you're wasting your time, and what good is it if you're not making any money? um, I I get to connect. I get to connect with people. I get to connect with listeners. I get to connect with the world and the people who live in it, and the people who are actually out there doing their thing. The metaverse is a beautiful place. You can really get lost in there. You don't have to be yourself ever. And while some people disagree with that, because they still want to create content to make money. The metaverse for me is just my form of meditation, my form of working out, my form of learning new things, learning that you can create a whole museum for you and your family and how to capsule your information and your history. And that's a beautiful thing. And you can also monetize from it too. So why not? So by 2024, I was YouTube and no longer Anchor. Anchor became Spotify, I think in 2024 or 2023. I can't remember. But Spotify took over Anchor, and that sucks because I was really getting a lot of money on Anchor after I started getting more listeners from publishing my talks here on stereo into Spotify or Anchor. Radio Public, Breaker, Stereo app, Twitch, Google Podcast, AMP, which now closed. AMP was a platform where they had music as well. And it was pretty good. It was very famous. Of course, they have to make money too. So, things happen, gone. iHeartRadio Wisdom Station head Clapper is a new form of platform where they actually pay you. They pay you coins. You're able to have people to subscribe to your podcast or your content creator account. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and the meta pretty much is Facebook and Instagram. So that's the history on that. Sitting down and every year on Spotify and Anchor, you would get like your analytical report of what you've done throughout the year, how many episodes, who's listening. And I always kept in mind for that. Give me 1 second. This is a lot of noise out here. The Bronx is burning down, people. The Bronx is burning down. I'm gonna go into a little break. Let me wow, that's a lot.
You range your eyes, tell me not to doubt, but another story's going round all over town. Guess you think I'm blind, or maybe that I'm down, but in the end you know what goes will come around. We could have been doing just great, but you threw a good thing away. We're up, wanting me to love you. You're so out of line, and what am I to tell you? But you're out of time. Ain't got no illusion, we shouldn't lie. Your words they count for nothing, but you're out of time. Still out of time.
Welcome back. I was just sharing with the Stereo app group about, how Miss Ruby introduced me to showcasing the Canva course. And the Canva course was not about learning how to use the platform Canva, but it was the mindset behind it. How do you want to structure your business? What colors are you going to use? What emotions are you bringing into your marketing? And how to learn how to do it yourself so that you're organized in a way that you can still hire someone to do it, but you can engage in conversations of what your vision looks like. Because sometimes it's very difficult to articulate your vision. Sometimes your vision, like for me, it was very difficult to, let's say, if Faith wanted me to help her promote her business, I really need to like dig deeper. But the Canva introduction to Canva course, what it actually did was to show Faith what it is that she wants, what's her objective on her business, what how does it represent her. Most of the time, people will do flyers and they have everything all over the place. The fonts are different. So those were the things that I will help people, like to have a cohesive, simple flyer. The simpler it is, the better it is. For me, I'm a very visual person. So I need to see things in a certain way. So, like, if you just Google Salty Coffee Podcast, you'll probably see the same colors, the purple with gold, the same fonts. You'll see something very simple, but you'll remember who, what, where, and when. And that was with the help of Miss Ruby. I'm going to play this message on Stereo app. Yes, salty coffee. Yes. I appreciate you, friend. I definitely appreciate you because I was able to understand early on in your journey what your mission. And I love that you were on camera before the love for everybody. Like some people were already on to telling, editors and photographers, a lot of flyers and stuff like that, so graphic designers. But you were like trying to help people, everyday people. And I didn't get to do the whole course, but I remember you kind of walking me through it and frequency stuff, and I appreciate you. And I'm still using it. I actually use it to adjust some of my documents for work, and that's sending back over to people. It works out really well. A little bit easier than Word or even like Google Drive sometimes. So anyways, thanks again. Thank you. Thank you for that. I truly appreciate it. Hey, Bree, how are you? I was just sharing with everyone my interview with ANN and the group around that time. And if you go to YouTube, you'll see the visuals. But I know I was talking about learning of who's listening and paying attention to your analyticals. So, of course, when I did the first Salty Coffee Poetry Contest in 2020, one of the contestants was a 9-year-old Denise. She's also participating in this poetry contest grand finale, but because she's not 18, she's not able to watch this broadcast. But I will use her poem. I will share it with you all, and she will get a scholarship fund from the Salty Coffee LLC. That I really appreciate her for sharing her poem when she was only 9 years old. And guys, when you hear her poem, you're gonna be like, wow, this is beautiful. It was just a beautiful thing. So who's listening? So so the point of that was that she's from Ecuador. So I literally on Facebook, I had a whole group of people from Ecuador. She got over 175 votes through text. So when I was starting the podcast, I wasn't aware of anything. I didn't know one jack thing of anything. I don't know why we use the word jack, but I didn't know jack. And I learned that later on, if you want to do, anything public or business without having you to be a follower or anything like that, you really had to create a public website. I didn't know that in 2020. I earned my living working a 9 to 5. So who knows about that? So I think when you learn through trial and error, you become better. Like when you're really, and that's my message to everybody, just sit, read, and try it. Try to do it on your own. I didn't know about StreamYard until I interviewed one of my recruiters from Mary Kay. She's like, oh, just use StreamYard. And I'm like, what is that? And we did it right. She sent me the link. She helped me create it. And here we are today, broadcasting through StreamYard, through Twitch. And then that's when I started my website. But here's the list of the countries that were listening already in 2023. 2020, there was the basics: United States, Ecuador, Dominican Republic. Unfortunately, they use Puerto Rico because it's geographically for podcasting. That's just something that they do. So, because I was asked that question, why would you have Puerto Rico if it's part of the United States? And, I wasn't going to go into it, but for podcasting purposes, they use geographically where you're at. So we have the United States, Ireland, Canada, United Kingdom, India, Saudi Arabia, Dominican Republic, Spain, France, Philippines, Singapore, Ukraine, Netherlands, Argentina, Japan, Ecuador, Australia, Germany, China, Pakistan, Colombia, Bangladesh, Barbados, Senegal, Morocco, Bulgaria, South Africa, Italy, Tunisia, Belgium, Sweden, Kazakhstan. Wow, this one is difficult. But it's Kazakhstan, Poland, Russia, Finland, Venezuela, Nepal, Puerto Rico, New Zealand, Malaysia, Brazil, Mexico, Nigeria, Switzerland, Slovenia, and the last one, which this happened in 2024, United Arab Emirates. I don't know what that is, but I've never been there. I would love to be there. But if you are listening to this podcast, thank you for listening to the Salty Coffee Podcast. And as a matter of fact, in one of those years, we had a person from India who submitted their poetry contest. They actually participated in the poetry contest, and I will show you guys that poem later. But here in the United States, we have New York, Florida, Arizona, Virginia, California, Oregon, New Jersey, Illinois, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Texas, Ohio, Georgia, Maryland, Delaware, Washington, North Dakota, Michigan, Louisiana, Colorado, Connecticut, Kentucky, Utah, Nebraska, South Carolina, Oklahoma, Massachusetts, Alabama, Wisconsin, Nevada, South Dakota, Alaska, Kansas, Tennessee, Iowa, Arkansas, Mississippi, the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C., who knew? Fajardo, which is a little piece in Puerto Rico. That's what I found out, because I was like, Fajardo, what's going on here? We got a new state. And Minnesota. So yeah, there's a lot of things that are happening in the world of podcasting. And I appreciate everyone who has listened to the Salty Coffee Podcast, who has supported the Salty Coffee Podcast for 5 years, whether that be participating in the poetry contest or submitting your information or just having me in your place, in your place of home, what you call home, and so welcoming. A lot of people who do their content creation have all welcomed the Salty Coffee with love, with respect, and I love it. So I'm going to go over a little bit of who I interviewed. So as I said, in 2020, my first interview. Hi, podcast babes. Miss Cat, Miss Z, Zaquil, Sister Crystal, Teresa, they're all on YouTube. And Bree, Faith, Shonda Lulu, Teresa, Brother Williams, welcome.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. In other words, good morning. It's all about show some love, support to your wonderful broadcast. Salty Coffee is what? In the house. Cuz.
Thank you. So in 2020, my first interview, like I said, was with my recruiter from Mary Kay, who, I learned a lot of the mistakes that I made. So I started creating with the mistakes that I learned from interviewing her on YouTube and Facebook, which she showed me how to use StreamYard. I still use StreamYard. I haven't found anything else that's better than StreamYard for me, because I can upload my videos. I can do, pretty much whatever I want to do. And it's all structured in a way that the podcast can flow. So Frances Gutierrez, I introduced her in August 26th of 2020. We had a networking party with myself, my good friend Liz, and my other good friend Karen. And that networking party was at my house. It's on YouTube. We had a lot of people who's came in and watched, and I was happy. But the networking party was for us to share as women what we were going through in 2020, how you can work from home, what kind of resources were available, and just to really showcase certain things. So it's in my house, right? So one of the Karen, she was selling those $5 paparazzi, right? Was that what it was called? The paparazzi jewelry. And I had all these blouses hanging up behind us, right? So they were like, why did you have a mess? What was all that clothes? But the point was that we would take the blouse and show the jewelry. Like, I literally had them. So this was something that we always have done as women. We saw our parents selling Stanley products, Tupperware products. Women have always been the core of the economic system, really. If you really think about it, we have been the ones just sharing our ways of selling stuff to each other, right? To each other. So networking is not something new to me, because that was something that I learned from just watching my mom at home, selling all kinds of products and sharing with each other. So that was kind of like the thing. Yeah. So my friend Liz, she started selling those nail. They're like little stickers for nails. I forget the name of it. So later on, we're learning and we're practicing on how to make money from home. You know, yes, the Tupperware parties. Do you remember those? And the Stanley products. They had the best brushes, the best hair combs. They did have this wood polish where I had to use to clean all of the shelves and stuff like that. So yeah, Tupperware. Those were the days, man. And they would give prizes, right? You give prizes. So same thing with Mary Kay products. So I truly enjoyed the networking party, and that happened September 20th of 2020. I interviewed JD Rose. JD Rose is an entrepreneur. She's a bartender and she does taxes. And she showed us how easy it is and flexible it is to be a freelancer. She just did taxes in the winter, months. What is it? January through April, and then she bartended in the summer. And this was her ability of being able to be there for her daughter. And that was in October 16th of 2020. Maria Hernandez, when I interviewed her, she was already writing her second book. She wrote the book. She's an author. She also works a 9 to 5. She's a mail courier. And she was so brilliant in writing her book. But we met through kickboxing. So that was a time where I didn't want to stay home all the time in 2020. So my other coworkers and I, we started doing kickboxing classes to, get that immediate COVID weight that we all gained during that horrible time. And Maria Hernandez, we're talking, and she's like, "Yeah, I wrote a book." I was like, "Girl, you wrote a book? Yeah, come on, share it. Let me see it." And then a few months later, I interviewed her. She's amazing, and her book Trapped, you can find it on Amazon. You can find it pretty much on other platforms. It doesn't have to be Amazon. You can, it's not in the library, unfortunately, but she's an author. She's a screenwriter. So her first book, she actually screenwrote it, and the movie is on Roku. So she's amazing. So if you are starting a podcast, or if you have a podcast, Google Maria Hernandez, the author of Trapped, and reach out to her. She also has her publishing company, New Yorican, I think it's called, Productions, and she's amazing. Sonia, I met Sonia through Facebook. She was an MLM, one of those marketing, those things, and she was selling the keto diet stuff. So I learned, I helped her, I supported her, but I also was helping her on how to use Canva to market her brand. Unfortunately, when you are selling products from someone else, they don't want you to do that. They do training courses on your own, like Mary Kay. Mary Kay, they have their own standards. They have their own branding that they want you to use, and you can like kind of like make it your own type of thing. But in actuality, they don't want you to do that. So she was very limited with what she can do, but she learned a lot about what she can do outside of what she was doing at the time. I interviewed one of my cousins that I've never met in person and in real life, but we met through Facebook, Stephanie Swirl. She created a product for hair growth and for beard, and I don't think she has it right now, but that's what people were doing in 2020, and that was in December. I started meeting people who were DJs, and then this is when I really wanted to start interviewing female DJs only, specifically female DJs of women of color. And I met with DJ La Diva. She plays house music. She is up on the ranks with Afrojack, it's called, and it's a form of house music. And I interviewed her in December 11 of 2020. I then interviewed a good friend of mine who I met through Yahoo chat rooms, y'all. That's how old I am. Remember the Yahoo chat rooms? The Yahoo chat rooms, New York City, #1. Tell me why in that chat room only like 30% were New Yorkers. Everybody else was from everywhere else. Nobody, not too many people from New York, but yeah, that's what you get. So I interviewed Aisha, who's a mother, a student, Muslim, and she was born in Jamaica, raised in London, but we bumped into Yahoo chat room. We spoke, and I helped her navigate how to get to New York, to get to school, to become a doctor. And now she's a teacher. She's a chemistry teacher, and I love her journey. I love the way she has grown, and she's always grateful that I've just shared information. When it comes to living amongst ourselves, it is so important to just share information. You don't know how much that helps. And for the people who are sharing the information, or the people who are receiving the information, receive it and learn from it and go out there and get it. Because there's so much information right now for so many different things that even when it's free, people are not believing it. So this is, I think, why I want to stop the podcast now, because I'm moving forward to writing my own book, but I really want to learn, how to get it right in my way, because there is no right or wrong for podcasting. There just isn't. And I think it's a beautiful thing that we can get together post-COVID, and reflect on what really happened in 2020, and how did we get here? How did we get to this situation where we're in right now, where we're so divided, we're so like, well, sorry I told you so attitude. Like, let's really focus on what is important. And the last interview for 2020 was with Carla, who's also a cousin of mine that I've never met. She lives in Georgia. She's a student and a musician, and she had a beautiful voice, and she just shared her journey as a student, what it is to be Afro-Latina in Georgia, and how hot it is over there. But that was a great, beautiful interview. So thank you so much for those of you who are on YouTube. Thank you for those who are on Stereo app. Bree, Black Casper, the Warrior, Faith, Sister Crystal, Info Pete. Info Pete, I have you on my list. I have you on my list of people, of supporters that have been there for Salty Coffee. So I'm going to take a little break from my mouth. So for those of you who are on Stereo app, if you have access to YouTube, come on over to YouTube. You can still stay on Stereo app. Please stay on Stereo app also. If you can do both, that would be great. But yeah, we talked about what Tupperware and how it relates to today. We talked about, so think about that. Think about if we want to make America great again. Sorry, I'm saying that. Let's go back to that old school where women got together. We planned out our earnings. We planned out what we're going to do, how we're going to do it to be a better people, civilians, to be better moms and dads. Like, seriously? I mean, the stuff that's happening out here today with kids, I don't know what else to say.
Salty Coffee, I love you. You're the best. You are inspiring. You've helped me lose weight. I seen a poetry event, so I thought this was an open mic. But much love to the audience, much love to the community. I hope you all continue to prosper.
Thank you, Info Pete. Yeah, if you've been to the Salty Coffee podcast poetry contest, you know it ain't no open mic like that. I could do that, but there is someone, a content creator, who's still here on Stereo app, Isabella Bay, and she does do her poetry contest. You can find her on Roku, on Alliance Network News, ANN, and that is awesome that she's doing that. And you do know, if you're from New York, you have the New York Weekend Cafe. That place is amazing. They do live. And that's what I want to go back into. You're going to see some clips on YouTube where I actually interviewed DJ, that girl Curly. So I only went for the interviews that I only went through the interviews from 2020. But once I get to the 2021s and 2022s, you're going to see how Salty Coffee evolved into learning. For each person that I interview, I learned something more about what I can do for the community, what I can do for women. So come on, share the podcast on YouTube. I'm going to start some of the video clips of what I've done throughout these 5 years. It's going to be a long show. So please bear with me because my mouth is going to hurt. So I'm going to give my breath a little, I'm going to give my voice a little break. So if you are on YouTube, you'll see the visuals. Some of it is music and then visuals, but please stay on Stereo so that the algorithm doesn't mess up.
Grand Rising! Salty Coffee, what's going on? Salty Coffee, Salty Coffee. How you doing? Hope you're having a great day. Salty Coffee, what's your more voice? Saturday, you made it, my queen. A lot of people did not make it. Unfortunately, you did, though. You see, Black Casper, I'm out here in New York right now, in Rochester, New York. This time of the day, I'll be headed to New Jersey. We have the Salty Coffee. Made it, yeah, I'm listening to these Stir Chick BC Black Casper.
Thank you, Black Casper. So here's a little clip of DJ, that girl Curly. All right, let me play this.
Salty, it's a pleasure being on here with you on YouTube. Thank you so much for just sharing your beautiful gift and seeing you on the podcast and being part of the Peachy Jew Network. Looking forward to seeing what's next, and I definitely talk with you about all these different places that you did your shows on. Love you, and looking forward to the next great thing.
Thank you, Teresa. I love you, sister. Yes, from P2G Networks, that's Teresa from the Black Girls in Web 3.0. We've changed the name. The branding is changing. I'm still part of that community as well. I'm just taking some time off because I'm negotiating our contract at my job at Columbia University. So I'm very diverse, but I know where I have to set boundaries of, I can't do everything, right? You can, but you can't. And like Miss Ruby would say, you just can't do this on your own, sister. You gotta get help where you need it, and you just really need to support others as much as possible. But what good are you if you're trying to do everything and then you really can't get anything done? So that's just how it is. I hope I didn't lose this, but for those of you who are on stereo app, once I play this video on YouTube, they won't hear the noise. Upbringing in the Lower East Side and how you saw the dynamics of your friendships, your friends, and you mentioned.
Yeah,
Not too much.
it's interesting because one, not many people really ask you how far can you go that justifies who I am today. So, and when it comes to my mom and my brother Raymond, they were definitely the influences in my life. My mom, growing up, I always saw her happy, pleasant, always wanting to listen to Spanish music, socializing with her friends, to the point where my mom brought me into some of the after hours in her life when she was younger, or when I was younger. And I can remember, clear as day, the music and the people,
Right.
As for me growing up with friends, that's a different story, because I was more of a loner child opposed to being like the next average family that has brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
And they were doing so much together. It wasn't really like that. Everybody was really more entertained by what they had to do with themselves. And it is what it is today.
And that was that girl DJ. Man, I always mess up her name. I mean, she even spoke. That interview is amazing. She shared so much about her life. She's from the Lower East Side, but her title is quote unquote sounds of a dancer as a DJ, because she started as a dancer for sure. And when I say dancer, just because you're a street community dancer doesn't mean you're not a dancer. Those are the people who really need to get the accolades, the awards, the trophies, and the acknowledgement, because they are dancing from the heart. They are dancing from their soul. They didn't take a course to do this. They didn't take a course. In fact, she would be the one teaching those who want to get the accolades, if you know what I mean, like in the Olympics.
Hi, Salty Coffee. It's a pleasure to see you, sister. I know that I always come to look at your stuff and promote my stuff, but I don't want to do that today. I just want to know, how can you be of assistance to help me finding a new co-host? Or how can I be assistant helping someone else on their platform, since I've been trying to regain our platform, but it's not really going great. Tips and ideas or people you can guide me to would be great, and we'll go from there. Nice to see you, Salty Coffee, and congratulations on all the hard work. I'm proud of you. I hope that I can be just like you someday in my podcast, because I just got into the 5-year anniversary of me being on stereo. I have to let you guys know how to do that as well. So if y'all are interested in the 5-year anniversary, how to get into that on stereo, please let me know. I'll get with you. But let me know how I can get some help. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Shamar, and thank you for joining us, and thank you for always supporting, coming over to listen. And you're right, you should not be using this time to promote. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I love you. I love you. Part of the P2G family. You're amazing. Black Casper, Faith, Sister Crystal, Shea Butter. Shea Butter, are you at work? How are you, sister? Info P, I love you too. And Teresa, I know you're on YouTube, and you're on stereo. And thank you for hanging in there. The message today is going to be very long, but I have batteries. I got everything charged up. So please just bear with me because it is a lot. It's going to be a lot. But if you leave, please leave a message before you leave on how Salty Coffee Podcast has impacted your life, whether good or bad. But I will say this, Shamar. I tried to find a co-host, but I learned that unless you are sure of what you want out of your podcast, getting a co-host is going to be very difficult. For me, I never wanted to co-host. I never wanted to share this because I'm very meticulous with my organization. My private life is very busy, and I don't want to put someone else in a situation where I'm going to be like forced to tell them, you're out. Especially if I'm not paying you. You know what I mean? So take time to learn Shamar Allen in your space. Take time to just breathe. Go out, learn what you're going to learn, come back and share it with other people. Go out, learn what you're going to learn, come back and share it. Once you have your little niche of consistent listeners, you have to, one thing that I learned for sure, especially here on Stereo app, is that you have to be consistent. And if you're consistently just putting people into your show, that can become damaging to your brand. So please make sure that you listen carefully. And he's gone, so that was just my tip. That was just my tip. So sorry.
Showed you that you can do anything. That's how I feel. I feel like I can do anything. So I had a great time. I hope.
In our lives, why not get the best out of it from your brands? Why not say, I want to reach the most people that I can possibly reach with my products and services? In attending my course, you'll be able to learn how to get the best of all of these things. It's not a gimmick, it is real life, and I have proof. My own account took me 5 days to go from 1,000 profile views to 18K views in less than 5 days. How did I do it? By the strategies that I have in place, I'm able to do it and only post maybe 3 times. Let's face it.
Light booty twerk. Damn, that magic works. I have no control of my own body. Led by your spirit, saturating me, consuming all that's great. Dinner is served with meat on your plate. Indulge, feast upon my lusciousness until your appetite is satisfied, filled with my flavor to savor. I surrender, I'm no defender to the power of you. Yes, I do. Submit and demure myself. Take all of me until there's nothing left. Spiritual theft. The lavender fields are full with colors of the color.
That was Linda Collier. Linda Collier is a poetess. She has sexy poems. She creates the most beautiful poetry, and she makes it into music. So she has her brand, and she travels a lot. She's a flight assistant attendant, and she goes all over the world, but mostly she goes to London, where she meets with her music producers, and she gives them her words and they put music into it, and it's amazing. Linda Collier can be found on Facebook. She has a brand, but she's not branding her brand. So this is what when I say, if you really want to like just be yourself, do what you love and share it. And that's pretty much as simple as it gets. There are ways to monetize by just being you. And Linda Collier, again, she doesn't do what she does for money. She does what she does because she loves to do it. And once you get that concept, I love to help people. Let me help people. And I get it. We have to pay bills. I get it. We have to earn a living. But there's going to come a time where that's no longer going to affect people. You know, if we really want to save our souls and our spirits, sometimes we're just going to have to get off of that conversation about earning and then just be ourselves and do what we got to do for our community, for our neighbors, for our people. And I think once we get that concept together, it's all gonna, you know, it's all gonna come together in a good way.
You heard the song playing as you arrive. We will rise. The Bronx will rise beyond domestic and gender-based violence, right? We are beyond the statistics that are often used to define who we are. We are survivors of our circumstance. We are resilient and we are tough.
I've been feeling this way for far too long.
And in unison for all of the victims and clients that we serve here in Bronx County. We are here to stand firm with all of our survivors and families to remind them that all hope is never lost. I am grateful to be with all of you this morning as your Bronx Borough President, Vanessa L. Gibson. This is my first annual domestic violence 5K walk roll bounce that we are proud to sponsor in conjunction with our amazing Bronx District Attorney, Marcel D. Clark, and the entire office of the Bronx District Attorney. I want to say thank you to our sponsors in the New York Yankees and Brian Smith and the entire team, to the mayor's office to end domestic and gender-based violence. Commissioner Noel is here with us today. To all of our partners at the NYPD, city agencies, the Department of Probation, Safe Horizon, and so many of you. My elected officials who are here, Assemblymember Chantel Jackson, Assemblymember Udaika Macias, Councilmember Althea Stevens, Councilmember Marjorie Velasquez, and to my team, to the Office of the Bronx Borough President, my Director of Health and Human Services, Dr. Nancy Kemp, and the entire health unit that works closely and collaboratively with the DA's office and the NYPD and Department of Probation and Safe Horizon and NILAC to secure that $1 million.
That was my first 5K to run with the awareness, domestic violence awareness. And what a beautiful way to share your podcast with the things that you do outside of social media. This run created a more understanding about what the community needs, what's available for the community. I did not know that if you had your identity stolen, you can go to your district attorney's office. I never knew that. So if you are wanting to become a podcaster and you want to podcast with content, go out there, learn your legislators, interview them. I actually interviewed one of my city councils, Oswald Felice, who was running for city council at the time. And I'll go through 2021, the episodes of the people that I interviewed. But I interviewed him and Elsa Crespo. Elsa Crespo is a trans person, but I interviewed them as candidates. So it's so important to learn what's happening, what's acceptable, what's appropriate, what's inappropriate. But you have to leave. Sometimes you just have to get away from social media and really learn what's happening in your own backyard. You would have so much content to talk about once you do that. You cannot stay in your apartment all day just Googling or searching or co-piloting, or you really need to learn, or I advise and encourage you to step out of your comfort zone and go into deep into what is really happening out in the world. Because sometimes when you know the truth and you want to bring it out, you can be canceled. Sometimes you don't want a large number of followers and listeners because that can be detrimental. Some of people have learned how to fake it too. They've learned how to buy listeners or bots to create this whole algorithm to promote their branding. That's never been me. I can say that if I have 6 listeners right now, there are 6 authentic listeners who know me already, who have been listening, and who know a little bit, even if they're coming in for just, oh, let me see what this grand finale is, because you didn't have the time to ever, because there's a lot to do, there's a lot to watch, there's a lot of us. We can't all be content creators in the world, right? We can't all be entrepreneurs. Like, we still have to work for someone, right? And earn a living. But needless to say, the Bronx is being managed and overseen by powerful women, powerful Black women who are really understanding what are the needs for our children and what are the needs for us. And they are listening. And that's the best thing to do, is to become an advocate for your community, but at the same time, hold your legislators accountable for their bullshit. Like, really hold them accountable. So I'm going to play this message and then I'm going to go into 2021.
I'll say good morning, good afternoon, salty coffee. Hello, everyone in the audience. Hello, everyone in the world. I would like to say that thank you, Salty Coffee, for your just overall well-being, your personality, your strengths, your willingness to learn and to teach others. Salty Coffee Podcast was definitely something for me to open up to, and I'm happy that I was able to do some things like submit one of my poems, meet with you to do like a one-on-one Canva introduction. Even in the back end, you supported me, and I just appreciate everything that you've done for this Over Here Stereo app. And yes, it's all about consistency, and you've been consistent. And I'm so excited to see what you do after here.
Thank you so much, baby girl. I hope everything is well with you and your family. You've always been there. You've always been at the P2G Network's Breakfast with the Thomases. Love it, love it. And I'm also hoping that you have completed successfully your academics, and hopefully, you're not stuck in a rut with anything that's holding you back. One of the things that really sometimes pisses me off is that colleges today don't provide real education for students who have no idea what they're getting into. When it comes to financial aid or grants and stuff like that, they're just not going to give you that information. So the Salty Coffee podcast is also was a way for people to come in and listen to what the academic side is, what's happening on the academic side. So I'm also hopeful, because I've seen a lot of things, and that's pretty much what I will be doing after this podcast. I'll be starting to write my book on my 35 years working at Columbia University, and I'm hoping that the book is helpful for not only young people in their 20s, because the book, I started working there when I was 20, but for people who are my age now. Like, what are you gonna do after you retire? What have you been doing? What can you be doing around this time? But in 2021, I interviewed Nina Garcia. She's an actor, an actress, but also worked a 9 to 5. Most of these people that I interviewed had a 9 to 5, like, maybe not 9 to 5 for those hours, but they had a legit job. And this was all their gig on the side. To have interviewed women who constantly just do it, like they have no choice but to do it. So Nina Garcia, she wrote The Scars That Save Us. She did it in one night at a cruise, and that was on January 31st, 2021. Crystal Harley, who is also known here on Stereo app, I Am Crystal. She's a content creator, a truck driver, entrepreneur, and I interviewed her in 2021 of February 28th. Elisa Crespo was the candidate that was running for city council here in the Bronx, who's also an activist for the LGBT plus community. And her interview was on March 21st, 2021. Oswald Felice, District 15 city council candidate, was also elected after I interviewed him. I voted for him as well. He was interviewed on March 22nd, 2021. So the one thing that I would have to say about that interview is that the timing that he gave me and was only available was during the time that I was at work. So I took my laptop to work. I did it through my lunch hour, and it had an echo. And the reason it had an echo is because I had never done my podcasting like that on my laptop. I've always done it at home with my computer, my 10 monitors, whatever. And so I learned through that, be ready, prepare yourself, engage in reaching out to folks. Right now, if I invited him as already being sworn in, they will not take me to do an interview. They are only to do interviews with whatever they call the journalism, people who have a license to do interviews and journaling, which is stupid if you ask me, but I'm glad that during the campaigning they are able to go ahead and do that. Welcome, Uncle Leo, Faith, Shondalulu, Shea Butter, Miss Cheesecake, Teresa, thank you still, and Sister Crystal, and Info P, thank you still for being on here. We're about to, hey, thank you for all you do. Thank you. Cultured Variety is owned by Info P on Stereo app. So make sure you follow. Everyone follows each other. Make sure that we are in communication with each other. In about 7 minutes, you're going to meet one of the participants for the poetry contest, Kat. She's going to come in at 12:30, and then followed by Zakil, who's going to come in at 1:30. Hey, Shondalulu. So DJ Treehouse was another female DJ, bartender, and entrepreneur who I interviewed on June 28, 2021. Awesome conversation, pretty much clear to the point. How did you become a DJ? What inspired you to become a DJ? What keeps you inspired to continue to do it? Queen Linda Collier, which we heard one of her performances, one of her songs. She's a poetess, and she creates poetry and turns it into house music. She has the producers who do this, and it's an amazing way of making money by just having people tapping into Spotify and listening to your music. DJ That Girl Curly, we heard her clip of her interview on July 13, 2021. The Diva of Southern Soul. You're going to hear one of her songs, one of my favorites. She's a singer, she's a mother, a grandmother, and an entertainer. And for this interview, I told her, I want to come visit you first. I want to see you in person. I want to see how you do your daily lives. And so I got some clips and whatever. Went to Mississippi, y'all. I went to Mississippi for the first time. I was kind of in shock, culture shock, big time. There was a lot of Mexicans there, which I was surprised. but she has a beautiful heart. Her mother is just so beautiful. I interviewed her mom too, privately. I didn't share nothing but one little clip about her, but I wanted to learn from the older folks. I wanted to learn a little bit more about what it is to live in Mississippi, what it was to be never traveled. She never met a Dominican young lady. So, this was their first time meeting a Dominican person. They never knew what that. So how beautiful is social media that you can actually meet people from all over the world and with good spirits. She shared her home with me. She didn't even, I was so like, you trust people like that? Like, it was interesting, right? And I'm thinking to myself too, like, wow, I'm a trusting person. Like, I'm going to go visit her. It was just mutual. Like, when you have good intuition about people, that's just how it flows. Sorry, but it is the truth. That's just how it flows.
Grand finale of 6th annual Salty Coffee Podcast Poetry Event. Shout out Salty Coffee. Shout out to you. Shout out to everyone.
Thank you.
Music is love. Let's begin. All you gotta do, boy, is come on in. Whipped cream by the bed, strawberries too. Got a bottle of champagne waiting for you. The mood is set, the time is now. I'm ready for you. Gonna put it down. Temperature is rising. It's getting hot. You're the only one that can put this fire out.
Doesn't she remind you of Shea Butter, people? Every time I listen to Shea Butter, I hear Miss Shelby in my heart because y'all two just sound alike, look alike, sing alike. But Miss Shelby, thank you so much for sharing your time, your family, your home, your dogs. I fell in love with her dogs. She's just a beautiful soul, beautiful person, and I wish her in Mississippi the best of everything. And this is a beautiful person. And sometimes we need to take care of not just our communities, for communities all over and teach them, share with them resources. And sometimes you will learn that it's hard to teach, I hate to say the old dogs, new tricks type of thing, but sometimes it is. But we need to continue and we need to really, really just share with them what certain things are out there. In 2021, on October 17th, I conducted another networking party with stereo app content creators, Crystal Harley, Visionary 126, and Tatiana. And the way we did that one was through StreamYard, and they all showcased their work, their, what they were selling, and it was pretty nice. It was a really good time to get to learn a little bit more about the ladies. I think Crystal Harley is still around. Maybe she's with A&N. I'm not sure, but I did see her. In 2022, I interviewed Mark Cabroy, who's a film director, also a co-worker of mine. Again, most of the people that I interview are people who are working on 9 to 5, but do other things as a gig or to become an entrepreneur on their own. But he's a screenwriter, an entertainer, entrepreneur, and he also he's retired now, but Mark is a great person, good friend, and I wish him luck on everything.
Showed you that you can do anything. That's how I feel. I feel like I can do anything. So I had a great time. I hope.
Yeah, his interview was about 2 hours plus, so it was long. I also interviewed a gentleman that I met through Facebook. His name is Robles Solution. Is his name of his country and company. And what he does is that he helps people gain credit or obtain credit, good credit, so that they can purchase a home. And he was very successful in 2022. And the only reason I interviewed a man when it comes to Mark, when it comes to the Robles Solution, is because they are great supporters of women. Robles Solution became Robles Solution because he was raised by a single mom, and his mom did everything for him. And he saw and learned what it is to be a single mom and how difficult it was, but how she made it seem flawless, and how beautiful it is to hear a man to say, I'm doing this to honor my mother because she did everything for me. When those words come out of a man's mouth, it's like, why couldn't you interview him, right? So, Alliance Network News. I interviewed the group Meatballs, Trip to Say, Doc Bay, Elevator Bliss, and Junkie Dave on October 9th, 2022. And around that time, when I interviewed the group, Elevator Bliss, who's like the core founder of the A&N Alliance, Elevator Bliss and Trip to Say are like the core founders of that alliance network. And he was elected community activist on Stereo app. And I interviewed them and I created these little clips.
Yo, shout out to my motherfucking bro, Elevated Bliss. Let's go.
Power up. Elevated Bliss.
Gotcha.
Power the fuck up. Honest. Allegro.
Gonna be Elevated Bliss. I'm gonna go Elevated Bliss.
Elevated Bliss. Elevated Bliss.
Hey, yo, you ain't even gotta read the name.
I'm literally everybody.
that voted. I mean, in all honesty, for me, it's confirmation, of something that I've done so long in honor of my daughter in real life. So, an inspiration to continue. So, salute to everybody. Much love and appreciation. Facts.
That was half of the room that voted for you, to be honest. Okay, if y'all
Like
calculating the votes, that was half of the room that voted and said
that was
Chunky.
like 50 fucking votes.
Wow.
And I've just been noticing a lot of the misconceptions that I think that if we just allow ourselves a few small moments to just really weigh in on what are some of the things, what is Doc talking about? What is this power is the people? What is this nationality?
Aren't we seeing that now? Everybody getting back into the precious metals game ordeal. People are understanding that this currency of the dollar is fiat. Slowly what it's gonna look like is like, oh, the dollar crashed. It's always gonna look like something negative, but in reality, it's a quantum transfer. It's like a transformation or a transition. I mean. Hey, so what's up to the panel? What up, Icon? What up, Salty Coffee? I hear you asking about this utility company, and from judging from what I know based off of commerce, utility companies are complicit in the fact that they're already been paid by our SESTA-QV trust.
Exactly.
So I'm going to read to you from the Maine Republic. This is a retired judge who wrote this article. He said that you may receive a monthly statement from a mortgage company, loan company, or utility company, which usually has already been paid. In fact, we have to know what it is that we are up against, and that is why it is the utmost importance to understand law. The real law, not the legal system, but common law, man's law, because it is our duty to put them on notice, the ones who infringe upon our constitutional rights. We need to know what part is operating in the legal system, which is only dealing with your corporate entity. It's only dealing with your straw man, your all caps.
That's the beautiful thing about being a good listener. And this is one of the tips for podcasters to go into other podcasts, listen to their information, learn, research, go back and research on your own, learn a little bit more. And then, so those comments were people who actually came to the Salty Coffee podcast at one point when I had a co-host, and we were speaking about, how important it is to know how our system in the United States works, the economic system, the housing system, the just legal system, if you will. And it's important for us to, no matter how crazy the other person sounds, listen to understand. Don't listen to respond. A lot of times we do that. We fail to do that. And that's, I think, why I have a lot of people who listen to the Salty Coffee podcast. I know I could be probably a little boring and sleepy and not so entertaining, but I will say that I work hard to get the information that I'm going to share with you. And I wouldn't share with you if I didn't know that it was important. I'm not just creating content just to create it to get clicks or views or followers, which a lot of people do, right? You create the content with substance that it leaves the listener with something to look forward to and changing probably in their own lives. So I appreciate and respect all content creators from all over the world, whether their statements sound crazy or unscientific, unreligious, whichever way, if that's even a word. But yeah, so the ANN Alliance interview was on October 9th, 2022. I had a great time. I also interviewed around that time a beautiful lady who owns a company that's for periods for women. Her name is Robin. She also, I met Robin through Visionary 126, through the networking party. And Robin created underwear for periods. And this helps the environment. It helps women to not get rashes from the sanitary napkins that we use today or tampons. And fortunately for me, I didn't have to use it too long because I was going through menopause, but it also helps for women who are going through menopause where your periods are very unbalanced and you're never going to know when when you're going to get it. So kudos to
I'm staying in bed thinking back on us and everything that went wrong. Never said goodbye, think I broke your trust. Should've known this all along. Don't wanna be the one that you're trying to avoid. I'm feeling so confused, why did I act so annoyed? 'Cause I don't wanna be strangers, baby. The next time when we meet, and oh, it dawned on me.
And she's still available. The website is www.bamblish.com. And she has a beautiful kit for young girls who are getting their periods for the first time. So please support Bamblish. She's a Black woman. She has 2 beautiful daughters, or 3, I can't remember. But her interview was very helpful for her because this helped her pump up, her brand to just being consistent, having the products available. And I love that about her and Robin. I reintroduced Maria Hernandez just to see where she was at from our last interview from 2020. I interviewed her 2 years later. She is now working because what happened to Maria was that she has a brother who has special needs, right? And her mother, is in a nursing home now and she's unable to take care of her brother. So navigating the paperwork to help her brother as an adult was very difficult. So she is on her journey to creating a book that's going to help parents understand what happens to your special needs adult children, how to teach them navigate their own, know their rights, which they're probably never going to really understand. But it's a very touching interview because she shared how, her mother always said, you have to take care of your brother. And she never married. She never had children. And I think as adults, that's something so, Latinos, we do this all the time. We feel like, and even Black people too, I'm sure, we feel like we're obligated to take care of our parents, our siblings. And, that it was just very touching to see that she had to go through all of this trouble here in the United States in 2022 to just gain some services or some clarification. And what was happening was that in the 70s, because there was no records or anything, people don't want to tell their children that they are special needs. People don't feel comfortable even accepting it themselves. So because there was no really help for parents to understand that whole concept, there was like no real documentation. So as an adult, there was no record of him ever needing these things. So it just became a little bit more complicated. In 2023, believe it or not, I only interviewed 4 people. One of them was reconnecting with Miss Shelby from Mississippi. Then I interviewed my dance instructor when I was a kid. I was a professional dancer, y'all. So I dance folklore dancing, which means any typical dance from a country. So La Plena from, excuse me, La Plena from Puerto Rico, Merengue, Mangulina from the Dominican Republic, Carabine, Cumbia from Colombia. So we had to learn the instruments. We had to learn. Y'all hear that noise? We had to learn the instruments. We had to learn where the music came from, who, how the indigenous stuff, like Guayando la Yuca is grading the what do you guys, what do you English people call yuca or yuca? Casado, something like that. Let me see what are the comments on. I know the dance moves. I got to move like Jagger. I don't even know why I said that. But so yeah, so I interviewed her. It was a beautiful interview because she shared her story of how she was a dancer in her own country, Dominican Republic, and then she met the director and founder of the Ballet Quisqueya with Normaldia Maldonado. Normaldia Maldonado is an icon here on Washington Heights in New York City because she created a dance group that brought the country, Dominican Republic, into New York City. And that's why they call Little Dominican Republic, because we embrace our culture. We want to make sure that our children sustain the culture. We want to make sure that they understand where they come from, and to not lose that, the typical dances, to not lose that culture that really makes us who we are. So I love her interview because she has met so many people. And the best part of all of this, she's in her 60s. She's a dance instructor, and her oldest student is 85 years old, and her youngest student is 3, 4, something like that. So through COVID, she gave classes online. She's now partnered with another dance group to help her, promote, citywide, to get funding from the city to sustain the dance organization. And I love it. In 2024, we interviewed JoJo. JoJo is a natural network news, and she's all the way in Costa Rica. And she left the country. She's like, I'm out with $200 in her bag, and she does everything naturally. And the way she sustained herself is through cryptocurrency, through digital financing. So she learned how to do that, and that's how she sustains herself in Costa Rica, doing everything natural, from growing her own food, from networking with other people who are doing the same thing. So when you say you can't do certain things, or because you don't have money or you don't have this, that's untrue. Here's her thing again, with a
In
little
our
clip.
lives, why not get the best out of it from your brands? Why not say, I want to reach the most people that I can possibly reach with my products and services? In attending my course, you'll be able to learn how to get the best of all of these things. It's not a gimmick, it is real life, and I have proof. My own account took me 5 days to go from 1,000 profile views to 18K views in less than 5 days. How did I do it? By the strategies that I have in place, I'm able to do it and only post maybe 3 times. Let's face it, social media and digitalization has come into our lives and it's consuming everything. Why not get paid for us living our lives? Why not get the best out of it from your brands? Why not say, I want to reach the most? So why not learn, instead of trading someone else's products and services like cryptocurrency, cash, and other things like gold and silver, why not trade your time, attention, and your energy? Learn how to increase your social network. Learn how to trade your energy.
And that was JoJo. That was a great interview. I learned a lot. I don't think I'm ready to live in those circumstances, but in 2024, I only interviewed 2 guests, and there was a reason why for that. And the other guest was a super. that was it. And the reason why 2024 was very limited is because I started engaging in other platforms, other networks, and networking with Miss Ruby. I was focusing on the self-care Sundays with Salty Coffee around 2024. 2024 for me was a pivotal, well, the end of 2023 was when I realized I need to get off my buttocks and start working out, start going back to what I used to do, which was travel, walk, exercise, and be out all the time and be busy. So I managed to, not focus too much on the podcast, but focus it centered only on self-care. Because it does us no justice to become podcasters, and then all we're doing is sitting down all day, every day, researching. So I'm working 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, at a desk already, and then to come home and redo it again. It wasn't healthy. It's very toxic. So I want to encourage you that if you are a content creator or a podcaster, it's okay to take a break. It's okay to take a break, reset, because, if you are taking it seriously, and this is something that you really want to do seriously, it can break you. It can break you financially. It can break you emotionally, and you just really need to take care of yourself. You come first, and so therefore, Self-Care Sunday was very important for me to share my journey on losing weight, gaining weight, losing it again, going through menopause, going through dating relationship issues, going through work issues. So, what is it that we want to accomplish at the end of the day? At the end of the day, we all want to just be happy. We want to be happy. And the best way and the only way for me was to love myself first. So that was that. I also embarked with
E2G. E2G presents Black Girls in Web3 podcast. Hosted by Wanda Suero, also known as Salty Coffee, Dazzle Daniels, also known as Dazzle D, and myself, El Ruby Thomas, known as Miss Ruby, Crypto Queen of Harlem, y'all. Tune in weekly as we strive to educate and elevate our community's financial literacy. We bring you professional and expert speakers, share insights from our personal wealth journeys, and introduce workshops and resources to empower you. Join us every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern on youtube.com at P2G Networks TV for an hour of Black Girl Power, where we're shaping the future of finance in Web3. Peace, and see you there.
And I still didn't get an interview with Miss Ruby. What I did get, I tricked her into doing a talk with me about the number 33. At that time, it was my 33rd year working at Columbia University. And it was just a lot going on in 2023 for me. Learning new things about finances with the P2G networks, learning how the system works financially was kind of like, what? What just happened? So that was a very important time learning those things, because when you learn about finances the way you learn it in the United States, to hear that there's something different and that it's all going to change, it's like watching the Jetsons in 1970. Like, that could never happen. You can never pop in a little pod into a microwave and poof, you got food. You couldn't talk with a little box in your hand. You couldn't, like, that was just unimaginable, right? In the 70s, at least for Generation X people, and to have the millennials and the newer generations having all of this already there for them to explore and improve on that, it's kind of like weird. It weirds me out. So, because when I listen to younger people and they don't know what a typewriter is, they don't know what margins are, they don't know a pencil sharpener. Some of them do, some of them still don't. They don't have manners. They are just clueless about how anything works. You know, they expect you to give them the answers to everything, you meaning the parents. You know, we really need to do as parents a little bit better in preparing our children, in teaching them the founding creation of anything that we have today. Why was the cell phone created? Why was you know, and the money we paid, you remember roaming charges? My goodness. You know, and letting them know that there's so much to do if you don't have the internet working. If your Wi-Fi is not working, there's so many things to do without social media. There's so many things that we could be doing. Music, creating poetry, creating writing without chat GPT, without those AI functioning things. There's so many different things that we can do. And I hope that if you're listening to this, that once you hear Denise's poem, you're gonna realize that there are some parents out there that are doing a great. Yeah, 33. So that was how I ended up having a talk with Miss Ruby. And we spoke about that. We spoke about, you know, how we worked, how we did the 9 to 5, how we had to wear skirts at work and corporate, how we had to wear pantyhose, how costly all of these things were. So that was a learning curve for me. So for those of you who are still on Stereo app, I'm going to show a couple of clips that while I'm showing it on stream through YouTube and Facebook, I can discuss what's happening on Stereo for those of you who are not there. But thank you still for being there, and I will start the poetry contest in a few minutes. So let me just show you some of these clips while I obey my thirst. Drink some water. damn gun, right? So I'm going to leave you with one more song. By the way, all of these videos were created by me through Canva. The audio is directly towards the person who, of course, is on their voice. So when I interviewed DJ, that girl Curly, she showed me that I should really go out and interview people of how it's going. And she was the one that encouraged me to just not be too shy, like to just go out. So she forced me to interview a couple of people at her event and to just ask them whatever I wanted to ask them. And I did. And I so appreciate that about her, because that's where I want to be. I want to be out in the streets. Of course, it's not safe right now in the Bronx. So it's a little challenging for me to do that. But I am working on that, and that is going to happen. So here's a couple of clips of people who I interviewed while still continuing to obey my thirst.
It's not who she is, it's what she is. I love the house music she plays. Listen, all I know is I've been following her around the country. I just came from South Carolina last week. Oh shit, wait, you was there? Otra vez. Oye, mira, stop stalking me. No. So anyway, I like my friends, my DJs, and I support everybody. You know, and I actually this year I want to get out of the city, and if they're here, they're there. I want to go and support them. So that's my and Curly. I told her, I said, you better give me your goddamn schedule. So 9/11, I'll be in Texas, San Antonio with. Oh, don't tell me you be there too. Get out. That's it. You know what? That's it. I'm out, bro. No, I'm sorry.
I had so much fun. And in the background, you'll hear the DJ's music, and that's what she plays. And she is one hell of a DJ. I love her to death. I will still support her in wherever she goes and try my best to support her. I can't do evening parties anymore, y'all. And it's just a little crazy. But, hopefully this summer, they're usually in Coney Island. Some of them are in Central Park. But I'm trying to encourage the DJs of house music to at least come to the Bronx and support the Bronx in any way that they can.
She's music orientated, from the first time I met her. So it's difficult for me. I don't want to say just 3 words. I just want to say about her. It's difficult for me because, I left the scene like 25 years and I came back. And not many doors were opening. You know what I mean? It was Antonio, Curly, and Ace House Nation. They were one of the few that opened the door and said, I want you to come play with me without even knowing who I was. And that's big in my book because, if you don't know me and you want to collaborate with me, you know what I'm saying? You didn't judge me by my cover or nothing like that, but but once we got together, it was a beautiful thing. And as for Curly, she been in the industry for a minute, you know what I'm saying? And people don't want to respect that, you know what I mean? There's a lot of new DJs coming up in the scene, whereas the technology has helped them in such a way. Right. They ain't paid their way, you know what I mean, like she has. And a lot of old DJs that been paying their ways. Like, if you come from turntable, you coming from afar. You know what I mean? A lot of these people, these new technology is helping them. I'm not hating. Misunderstand, at the end of the day, you want to make everybody dance. But don't try to block somebody that's been in the game for a minute, you know what I mean? And just because you shining right now, you want to put us on the back burner. I got a problem with that. You follow what I'm saying? So that's all, but she opened her doors to me and I appreciate her every single time. You know what I mean? Just the person that she is.
From the same neighborhood, pretty much, and we're about the music, and Lisa was a dancer just like myself, and we were just like interwoven like we still are. I mean, I'm very proud of what she's done with music.
Chino 3?
My name is Chino 3.
Why? How did you get that name, Chino 3? You're like the third Chino in the neighborhood?
I'm an old graffiti writer. And we had to pick names and we had to pick numbers. So I decided to go with 3. I'm third born Chinese Puerto Rican.
Nice. Thank you so much, Chino.
Well, Lisa, keep dancing, okay? That's what keeps you young. Keep spinning. Okay. That also keeps us moving.
Thank you. So your name is Linda. How long have you known Curly?
11 years.
11 years. So were you a dancer also, or you just followed her?
I just followed her. Well, we live close by to each other, yeah.
So your neighbors?
Yeah, I live on one side and she lives on the other.
Did you see her grow up in the neighborhood?
Oh, no. I only moved to Manhattan 11 years ago, so that's how I met Curly from coming here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you come here often?
Yeah.
And you listen to her music? Are you a house cat, or you just...
I never was, but now I am.
Really? Okay.
I've been now, say 10 years now, house.
Okay.
I used to like oldies.
Really? How old?
I'm going to be 75.
Wow, Linda, really?
Oh, I'm on...
That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my God. And so how do you see this generation? Because
I love it.
Okay. Very alive, very energetic.
Yes.
So where did you come from, Elena? Like before that?
I was born in Canada.
You're Canadian.
Yeah.
Hey.
You're Canadian?
No, I'm not, but it's like,
okay.
you know, Canadian people are so giving and so happy. You know, a lot of American comedians are Canadian.
Yes.
But so what made you come here specifically?
Because I moved over here.
Okay.
Well, he lived in the building. We're together 10 years.
Okay.
No, we're going to be together 13 years.
So that was her in the background playing this whole time. So I love the experience. I love that she shared and encouraged me to go ahead and move on and interview people at the event. That was kind of scary. I was, not prepared for that, but I think it worked out to be the best thing that I've ever done. And so while I still don't have the confidence of doing something like that again right now, I do know that once I take these small courses for doing that and learning how to do it well, especially having the equipment that can potentially, do a little bit of background noise correction, that I will be a great person to do that. Again, it's not safe here in the city to do something like that right now. And but I'm looking forward to doing something in the near future, for that. I'm having difficulties bringing some people up. So what I want to share with you in the meantime is, I want to share I'm going to go into the poetry, when it started, why it started. So I used to do the poetry contest in March. March 31st was the first date that my mom was in a coma. And then she was declared deceased on April 12th. So around March was when I started, doing it. Then I learned that April is poetry month. So then I moved the poetry contest to April, because it made sense to me at that time. So I'm going to share with you, let me see where my notes are, because, I had to really prepare all of this information down, but I think I can do it from here. So I'm going to show the 4 people that have won in the past. So we had, the first winners were Liz and Denise. Liz was an adult, and for that year, it was like a tie. And I kid you not, the text, because I did it through text messages. The text messages were coming in. And I'm like, oh man, like this is crazy. But it was like tie. And then I would say it's still tie. And then I just had to like shut it down. And so we had to split the $200 to 100 each. At that time, I wasn't knowledgeable enough to, and people also weren't aware of how to record for me to download, upload, and share it with you guys. So that year, it was kind of like I was reading the poem for them, which sucks because I sound crazy. Like I listen to it now, like, oh, that was horrible. What was I thinking? The 2021 winner was Lawrence with Evolving One's Man. You'll see the title on there. But Lawrence is also known as Larry. He is a great person. And the reason why he was included in the participation was because he has a beautiful daughter, and he is one of the best fathers that I've ever met in my entire life. He loves his daughter like no other. Not only does he love his daughter, he also has a son, and he loves both of his children like I've never. I mean, that is what a girl needs, and that's why he was included in this poetry contest that year.
If love is blind, then I got my eyesight back some time ago. Aging has a way of making a man go from looking at your thighs to staring in your eyes and behold the windows of your soul. When I was young, dumb, and filled with cum, I could not see beyond my infatuation with sex. The way the lips of her country looked, the reaction she made with each stroke, the thank you she gave me by covering my shaft with the white cream of her pleasure, the screams of satisfaction with the licks on her clit. Those feelings pale in comparison of what life taught me, because no one told me that those women's hearts were connected to their vaginas. And while a lot of them were falling in love, I was falling in lust. Love is acquired when one learns how to love, and one cannot learn to love until they learn self-love first. If you do not love yourself, how can you know what you want? Infatuation taught me true hurt and heartbreak, because companionship cannot be found with someone more selfish than you. Heartbreak taught me pain. Pain taught me loneliness. Loneliness taught me self-examination. Self-examination showed me who I really am. It was that person who I introduced myself to that I fell in love with. That is the person that has compassion and understanding. That is the person that knows how to give as well as receive. It is the man that sees the real woman he is with. The man that loves the look of your body, the scent of your DNA, and the taste of your juices flowing. For now, loving you means loving me, and with so much in life left to discover, love is good, but it begins with you.
Beautiful. That was in 2021, the winner. Zakil is here, and she's the participant for 2025 contest. The last one. I'm just gonna quickly bring her up because she looks like she's driving somewhere, and just let her introduce herself. She's not gonna recite her poem just yet. She's just gonna give us a little introduction to what she does and how she can promote her business through this platform right now.
Hi.
How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm great. Where you driving to with all that sun?
Girl, look, Texas is gorgeous today. And let me set up my windows here. My mom called me to meet my niece, so I'm waiting outside the school for my niece. She did
Okay,
volunteer work
quickly.
today.
Tell us what you do, where we can find you, and then I'll play your poem and just give us a little bit about your poem and why you wrote it and what's happening right now.
So I wrote that poem it was my declaration. So every year I attend this program called UHPW, and we write our personal proclamations, our manifestos. And so that was the reason why I wrote that. And I have the worst freaking, hold on.
Because I had the worst echo. I'm like,
Yeah, that's way better.
personal proclamation. I'm all about my identity and calling things into my identity that really, that are meaning to stick with me and that I get to walk within this world. So that was the reason why I created my personal proclamation, aka this is my year of radical blessings. And what I do is I am a leadership and wellness coach. I coach ambitious women to be able to live life on their terms, to stop second guessing, to just step into their power. And you can find me on Instagram at Wise Queen, and my website is inspireandigniteher.com. And I really believe in my mission and what I'm doing. And like God has blessed me to be partnered with so many amazing women like you, like Kat, as well, to be able to bring this mission that I want to see forth into the world. So thank you.
No, thank you. I really, really appreciate it. Every time so she's part of the podcast, babes, ladies and gentlemen. And I just, every time you pop in the room, I just like something just pops in my mind, like, she's here. Like you have this big smile. You're always smiling. You're the dance DJ of all of our conferences and talks. So I appreciate you, Z, and I'm hoping that your business continues. I'm not going away. I'm not, disappearing. I'm just resetting, taking some time so you would know exactly what that means. So I appreciate you. I appreciate all the ladies from Podcast Babes, and I'm not gonna cry, but
That's
I'm
okay. You're
just
just gonna make me cry.
Oh, okay. No, it's like you people don't understand. Like Sister Crystal says, Sister Crystal is one of my listeners, constant listener. She comes in all the time, and she has a platform called Protect Your Energy. And it's like some people don't think that that's real. Some people don't. They dismiss it, and that's okay. And that's okay. But sometimes the energy is so real in the podcast babes that I do feel supported. I do feel love. You feel it. It's sometimes so deep that it feels fake, that it feels real. You know what I mean? I don't know if people can understand that, but she
Yes.
understands it.
Yes. It's very surreal because you're like, wait, it's really people like this on this planet? It's really people like this in support? Wait, what? Hold on. Thank you.
And the podcast babes is not about, let's just make the money. No, it's really getting together, showing going to learn things, to then share it, to then share it again, and to go learn. Like it's one of those Tupperware parties where we're just there's more than Tupperware, because what do we put in the Tupperware? The food we make. It's like You know what I mean? So there's always going to be the baker. There's always going to be the person that does the crocheting. There's always a. So speaking of crocheting, I'm trying to learn how to crochet because I'm trying to make my sweaters for next year. I'm done with the
Girl.
prices. The prices on clothes and food is just going up. So thank you,
That's
Z,
okay.
again.
I might start my sewing lessons back up.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to reach out to Kat because she's having difficulties coming in. So I don't
Yes,
know
I
what you
can.
did different. Okay. I don't know what you did differently that she's unable to do it. So thank you again. Your poem will be played. I'm going to prepare the voting. I'm trying to figure out how to do the voting different from in the past. So, just hang in there. You're going to get my information. And thank you again for being such a supporter and such a beautiful person.
Thank you. I received
Thank
that,
you. I
and I
received
thank
that,
you as well.
and I
Thank you for
thank you
being a
as well.
beautiful
Thank you for
person in
being
my
a beautiful
beautiful mirror.
person, my beautiful mirror.
I'll see you later.
Alrighty, bye.
Alrighty, bye.
Bye. So that was Z from the podcast Babes. And I'm going to continue playing the poetry contest winner for 2022 was Visionary 26. She's also known as Caramello on the Stereo app, but she did have a website. She was selling all kinds of amazing things on her Visionary 126 website, and she's moved on. She's now doing her own thing, and best wishes to her and her family. And yeah, Sister Crystal, I'm going to shout you out all the time. All the time, Sister Crystal. And you too, Kat. And you too, Shonda. Let's see.
The warmth of your cradle. The warmth of your cradle, the nourishment you provide. As I develop my sense of touch, the feeling of your warm appeal around my body, waiting patiently for the day to look into your eyes, to feel your arms around me. You push me out with great pains, which brings forth tears of joy. 126, you finally hold me in your arms. I'm safe here. This is love. This is comfort. I want to stay here forever. Your tone of voice, calming every emotion. When I cry, you calm me with a soft lullaby. I fall asleep in your arms. I'm safe here. This is love. This is comfort. I want to stay here forever. Floral aldehyde fragrance, citrus bergamot, hyacinth green leaf, tarragon peach, sandalwood, and vanilla captures your smooth scent. It's like a spring breeze that dispenses golden dandelion seeds over long distances with no barriers to carry it where it's comfortable to go. Like a lily pad drifting away in calming currents on stream. Sombers of emery wood on a sear, brightening up the night sky. My reflection in your eyes. Echoes of smooth jazz playing in the background. You lift me up with remnants of your essence. This is love. This cradle is made in eternity. Echoes of laughter and joy. Your mesh garments gently pillowing my skin. Plush like feathers as I lay in the warmth of your eternal cradle.
Man, if you guys on Stereo cannot see the visuals that I created for that poem, sometimes you get lost into the music and into the voice. But that's why I believe wholeheartedly that we need to, as content creators, as podcasters, to create visuals for those who cannot hear or are deaf, and to create sounds that are clear and very in understanding content for those who cannot see. I've advocated always for the blind and for the deaf as a content creator, because that's a whole community that people are missing out on, giving them good content for their enjoyment too. They need to entertain themselves. They need to educate themselves too. So even though we have technology that has helped some of us to okay. Sorry, I just got a message. Shea Butter, stop sending me messages. It's around that. Yum, yum, yum. Anyway, I think it's important for us to focus also on those communities where, if it's a low income community where they don't have the resources to adequately, for those that are deaf, to have some sort of visuals and captions for them to read. Some are people who are deaf, cannot read yet. So those are the type of things that I've always advocated for, and I would love to encourage everyone who is a content creator, who is a podcaster, to make sure that they pay close attention to those. I took American Sign Language at one point, and it is a big community out there. I didn't realize how big, international wise, how big it is. And one thing that I did learn is that American language is different from the Spanish language, sign language. American Sign Language is different from the French Sign Language. So, those are the things that I want you. And, thank goodness for technology and advancement in technology, that today we can share our content for that community, for those communities who are unable to obtain the information that we share. And the poetry contest winner for 2023 never registered, didn't even know she was going to be in the room. And it was like she was sent from the heavens, boom, and just fell in. I mean, she did register in time, but it was like a last minute thing where I pushed her, send me the thing now so that I can do my thing on this end and, post it. So here you are with Luna Goddess. It's 6 minutes, but it's the most amazing poem ever. She literally created it that morning from her car. And the reason why it's 6 minutes and 50 seconds is because she talks a little bit about how she got into it.
It's called Elephant in the Room. I wrote this poem in October of 2021, and actually it was more of a channeled message that needed to get out. So I was in between clients in my car trying to get this get the words together because it kept coming. So that's what this is. And should I just start?
Yeah, unless you want to share what clients. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead. You can say. I was like, whoa, wait a minute, channels and the messages. Yeah. I get it. So, but go ahead. If you want to share that, that's fine. Or you can go ahead and start. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I do channel messages. That just started happening over more frequently over the past 2 years. I channel messages from spirit, from source or whatever, ancestors. And this was the first time that I actually experienced something like this to this capacity. So, and even so much so the words that they were giving me, I had to, some of I had to look up in a dictionary because I wasn't really sure if it made sense or what was happening. So that's how that went. Before I start though, the young lady, Karen, who started off first, she said the name of her poem was Choose. And when I got up today, I decided to commit to doing yoga and meditation for 30 days. And I was scrolling on YouTube trying to find a yoga practice. And I happened to find one that was, this girl was actually doing the 30-day challenge. And yes, today was day one. So I happened to stumble upon that. And the word for today was choose. And so the prompt that she gave us was to decide what did we need to choose. And my answer for that was me. And all of this is aligned, and I love how it's just lining up. So I'm going to go ahead and start. Like I said, this is called The Elephant in the Room. I promise that when you finally get a glimpse, just a small glimpse of what people who love you see, you're going to be blown away at how true it's been the whole time. It's like cleaning off the lens of your glasses for the very first time. It's like a fresh pair of contacts, but literally new context. Who the fuck is this? Pay attention to the ones that tried to play you. Better yet, tear down your self-esteem. The same ones that laughed at your dreams, but secretly tried to mimic that shit. The exact ones that try to take that shit. Yes, I'm talking use your heart for their egotistical gain. Oh, but they thought they could sprinkle your magic on their God-forsaken terrain. But guess what? They won't prosper. Because all the weapons they tried to form against you, they shall not prosper. And I said, no weapon. I do mean no voice, and no ill will shall prosper. And I mean, they got to get ghosts like Casper, pretending to be friendly kinfolk. And I mean, presenting themselves as sheep, but dressed in wolves' clothes. All inauthenticity shall and will be exposed. It is blasphemous. The tongue speaks negatively. You cannot curse me. I exude a God energy. Yes, I said it, but let me repeat myself for those who thought they misunderstood me. I said I exude a God energy. So fuck your opinion about who you think I am. I am that God says I am, a warrior, a priestess, a healer. I am victorious, a mastermind, and I shall master the mind because I can. If you take a closer look into your neglected soul, you too would be surprised by all the things you're bound to find. So go ahead and pay the toll, free your mind, learn forgiveness, and in divine time, you will begin to experience for yourself the benevolent power of the Most High. Cry out to God, even with your shaking voice. Your words carry power, but my love, it is your choice. You can choose to be free or be bound by the weight of the world, your struggle confined by your overpopulated mind due to a mental bind and a lack mentality. But one day you'll find that rest unlocks a stillness, and through an open heart will you discover true emotional fulfillment. Rest assured that satisfaction is guaranteed, but let not your thoughts control your actions, my love. You gotta be at peace with giving their vices little to no of that satisfaction. And I say little because you need to show up in a way where your light shines so bright that not even you can fathom how in the hell, and I mean how with the hell did I get here? How on this earth did I become so rare? But truth is, you were always a gem. And might I add, a very precious one, hidden in the shadows of your peers. So you better believe that there's an exceptional explanation for why God kept you there. See, you are, I am a magnificent creation of the one omnipotent creator, a very powerful and unique being with ultimate and infinite potential to prosper, like a phoenix rising from the in-depth celestial body of the moon's impacted crater. Do you feel free yet? Has your higher self, your God self, taken the lead yet? Well, let me address the triumphant elephant in the room. I am the triumphant elephant in the room, successfully embodying the intelligence, the wisdom, the majesty, because I am majestic. And let's not overlook my loyalty, my strength, and your audacity to think for 1 second that I would fold under pressure. Baby, I am the one applying pressure, so be mindful of your gestures. I pray your soul exists in stature, and let me be clear, I have arrived. She has arrived, and I am making my presence known. My name is already being discussed in rooms my feet hasn't even been shown. Just know that I am coming full steam ahead. My life has been perfectly orchestrated and molded by the divine. But my love, we can all break bread. After all, isn't that what Jesus did? Before there was bloodshed, they said he died for that which we call sin. God would forgive. They said he died for that which we call sin. God would forgive.
That was the winner, y'all, for 2023 Luna Goddess with Elephant in the Room. I think I did something over here to mess this up, but needless to say, congratulations to her around that time. And here is Sonia Dominique. It's Just Something About You. She was the winner from.
It's just something about. It's just something about. It's being at a party event in the same room, admiring each other from afar. Handsome with a strong jawline and his split black suit. I'm the lady in red, beautiful curves, natural hair, low-key want to hunch. It's just something about the grand red carpet entry as a couple, superpower couple, walking side by side. It's relationship goals, Mr. and Mrs. It's just something about finally getting home and listening to the sound of the zipper from my dress, unzipping, then feeling his gentle hands unhooking my diamond necklace. The feel of his masculine 5'10" body frame brushing up against me. It's us in our master bedroom with open balcony doors, ushering the breeze of the moonlight's air. Him running his fingers through my hair, my hands caressing his muscular back, my legs apart, middle-voiced, anticipating the thrust of his manhood. It's just something about falling asleep in his arms while watching Netflix. The smell of his cologne, the cozy ambiance on the couch, the aroma of veggie pizza, butter popcorn, potato chips, and sweet red wine. The light glare cast on the wall from the flat TV screen. Hashikashi! It's just something about, yes ma'am, this bundle service would save you $250 for the year. And I reply, well, let me consult with my husband first. Thank you for your time. It's just something about dancing together on a lazy Saturday afternoon. Groove on, one step, two steps, body synchronized. It's top-notch dressed to the T. Photo shoot, queen and king. Take a picture, click, click. Take a picture, click, click. It's just something about respecting his solitude, vice versa mine. Miss you, babe. FaceTime, praying and meditating together. Crisscross applesauce. Thank you, Lord. It's just something about having steak dinner at a 5-star restaurant, secretly paying the bill with the waiter. It's him, babe, hold on now. We gotta pay the bill. Gotta pay the bill now. It's me, babe, don't worry about it. I took care of it already. It's him looking puzzled in the face. You pay the bill? You paid the bill, babe? It's me, yeah. It's him and his thoughts. Well then, dang. Look at my baby. It's us walking out the restaurants to 2019 black Cadillac Escalade. Him opening the passenger door. It's him smacking my butt before getting into the car. It's just something about putting onions in his socks. Chicken noodle soup with soda on the side. It's just something about, congrats, you have a healthy baby. It's him walking into the hospital with a baby carriage. It's the small talks. It's just something about wanting to be somewhere peaceful and having some intimate moments. It's just something about. It's just something about. It's just something about. Dot, dot, dot.
That was Sonia Dominique, all the way from the Stereo app, content creator, also a listener, great listener. But there's something about her pretending and voicing her man, right? Love it. So we're going to continue on, and we're going to start with the participants from the contest now. So those that you heard were the winners from 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, and Sonia Dominique with 2024. And I'm going to start the participants' poems for this year's 2025 poetry contest. The first one is For Love from Catherine Kinsley, who is a beautiful person. She's the CEO and founder of Podcast Babes. So if you're interested, you're a woman, and you want to become a podcaster, hit me up or send a message here, and I'll reach out to you and give you the information on how to join. The group is a beautiful person, beautiful woman. She's just so sweet. And I've learned a lot from the group, learned a lot from her. And I'm going to turn off this light, but here you are with Kat.
Look for the love. I woke up one morning and wondered if I really matter. I scanned the mirror, looking for answers, and I heard a voice whisper, "You are not enough, not loved enough, not seen enough, not understood enough, not far enough in life." I scanned the internet just to find more of the same. As I scrolled and scrolled, that voice went on and told me a story of dismay. Why can't I have that? Why can't I seem to accomplish that? What's wrong with me? Where is the love? The voice got louder and louder until it caused me to shatter. And I sat with my pain. I called it by its name. As time kept passing, I continued the asking. What if I would have done this instead? Done something different? Made another choice? Continued the voice. And then the whisper. But what if? What if love isn't missing? What if it's just hidden in places we've never been taught to look? What if love is the breeze that flows through the trees? What if love is the birds that flock together in the hands of that couple that said forever? In the steps of the girl running to her father, in the color of that beautiful flower that pokes through the front gate. As I began to trade my desperation, my expectation for appreciation, I went on a hunt to find all the things I love. And I began to have peace of mind. The sound of puppy paws, my sister's laugh, pink toes, the way my favorite plant grows, even after I forget to water it. You see, love is everywhere, but you have to be willing to see it. Love isn't something you earn or something you chase. The greatest lesson nobody ever taught us is that love is always among us. I am love. You are love. We are love. And now when that voice won't let me be, I remember I can turn my pain into power by what I choose to see. That love is you and love is me.
For Love, Kat, and for this first time ever, we've included internationally and in the language of Spanish a poem. And this one is No te rindas, which means don't go overboard, by Paola, all the way from Santo Domingo. No te rindas.
No te rindas. No te rindas, aún estás a tiempo de alcanzar y comenzar de nuevo, aceptar tus sombras, enterrar tus miedos, liberar el lastre, retomar el vuelo. No te rindas, que la vida es eso, continuar el viaje, perseguir tus sueños, destrabar el tiempo, correr los escombros y destapar el cielo. No te rindas, por favor, no cedas, aunque el frío queme, aunque el miedo muerda, aunque el sol se esconda y se calle el viento, aunque hay fuego en tu alma, aunque hay vida en tus sueños, porque la vida es tuya y tuyo también es el deseo, porque lo que has querido y porque te quiero, porque existe el vino y el amor, es cierto, porque no hay heridas que no cure el tiempo, abrir las puertas, quitar los cerrojos, abandonar las murallas que te protegieron. Vivir la vida es aceptar el reto, recuperar las risas, enseñar el canto, bajar la guardia y entender las manos, desplegar las alas e intentar de nuevo celebrar la vida y retomar los cielos. No te rindas, por favor, no cedas. Aunque el frío queme, aunque el miedo muerda, aunque el sol se ponga y la calle del viento, aunque hay fuego en tu alma, aunque hay vida en tus sueños, porque cada día es un comienzo, porque esta es la hora y el mejor momento, porque yo no estoy sola, porque yo te quiero. No te rindas.
Beautiful, bravo. And that was from Paola, all the way from Santo Domingo. No te rindas. And yes, we did take international poems, and that's where we are internationally. So why not? This one is No Matter What, Keep Blooming by Lawrence Johnson.
No Matter What, Keep Blooming by Larry Johnson. I was born where my ancestors once lived, and now they sing lullabies. Where hope is flawed like broken dreams beneath my mama's tired feet. Where love is like the latest hand-me-downs, tattered and torn. Prayers and hope are focused on food stamps and rent receipts. I'm told that I was born on the wrong side of town. However, they didn't tell me I was born divine. My blood remembers kings. A crown doesn't need to shine to be real. See, love for us isn't candy sweet. It's black braiding strength into the scalp. It's my grandmother's hum. A mother who stayed when the world said run. It's that side eye that says, I got you, when words won't hold. But loss knows our name too well. We lose breath to bullets, names to hashtags, homes to silence, history to chalk dust. Yet still, we love like we've never been hurt. We laugh like the sky don't weigh a thing. We dance even when the music stops, 'cause rhythm's in our marrow. Joy is our rebellion. Life ain't easy, but it is ours. And we wear it like our Sunday best. Even in pain, we preach. Even in struggle, we teach. We, the dreams of slaves, the builders with nothing but back and hope, we still bloom. We still rise. And when we love, God listens close.
No Matter What, Keep Blooming by Lawrence Johnson. Here's the beautiful Radical Blessings by Sakil. You met her earlier on YouTube here. And any comments, please feel free to leave them now. Hey, Karen, how are you? I am going to play the one from Zakil.
This is my year of radical blessings. Crippling beliefs hold no claim over me because I lead with love and stand in my worth. Peace is infused with every step I take, my existence steady, my heart open. I live fully expressed without apology for who I am. You see, mindfulness keeps me rooted, love is my compass, and gratitude anchors it all in. I feel God's presence woven into each breath while I lean into discomfort with faith. You see, I know pressure creates diamonds. My words, they cast seeds of blessings, shaping my reality with intention as I honor the sacred promises I create. I get to celebrate boldly, kindly, and with reverence, not just for myself, but for those around me. I walk with playful wisdom, fierce grace, and unshakable faith. I do not shrink. I do not waver. I hold on to all that life offers because I was built for this. I master my finances with clarity and confidence, knowing abundance is my birthright. I cultivate relationships that are richly shared and deeply nourishing. With power and presence, I bring my gifts in everything I do. I am a force. I am a breakthrough.
Wow, that was amazing. Thank you so much for Kat, Paola, Lawrence Johnson, Zakil. I do have one more poem, but I was not able to upload it and will find difficulties. Man, it's just been really loud out here today, New York City. What is going on in the city? But anyway, I love all of you. For this year, first time, the participant who was 9 years old in 2020 sent a poem. And for this year, she's not participating in the adult poetry contest. So she is just she submitted her poetry, and she will be getting a scholarship, Salty Coffee Scholarship Fund gift from the Salty Coffee Podcast. So I encourage you all, because I will continue that moving forward. So I would love to have and help children, but children won't know that the poetry contest is available unless their parents are listening, right? So, and paying attention to the podcast. So my website will go down probably in June or July. My stereo app will also go down. So if you haven't heard any of the episodes on stereo, you can still find them on Spotify. You can still find them on Fountain. You will still find them everywhere in other platforms. But again, I will be no more website in July, no more stereo app in July. So I hope you share that information with everybody else. There will no longer be no Salty Coffee podcast. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing, because it's just going to be something new, something different, and very different. But I will be taking a break to write my book, 3555, my 35 years working at Columbia University and 55 years old. And that is pretty much chapter 1 in itself. It's going to have a lot of chapters because there's a lot of history, a lot of secrets, a lot of things that have happened within 35 years, 3 decades. I mean, that's a long time to be working somewhere. I mean, when you start talking about you had to take a typing test to get the job, that's kind of interesting, right? So I'm hoping to do that. And I'm looking forward to spending some quality time with myself, my mind, and writing the book the way I want to write it, and then publishing it, because I know that's a lot of work in itself. So here is the poem from our beautiful young lady who won the first poetry contest at the age of 9 years old, based on votes all the way from Ecuador and New York City.
Birthday memories, like shining stars, hold a treasure chest full of joy, laughter, and light, just like fireflies in a jar. It was my 8th birthday and we went to the beach. Like Ariel from The Little Mermaid, her strong passion for adventure I wanted to reach. My mom and dad were trying to surprise me by making me an Ariel outfit. Green tail, red or purple top, and even the red wig. The perfect mermaid fit. I dressed up like Ariel and my dad carried me as if I just came out of the sea. It was an amazing day, my heart filled with glee. Even my sister was a mermaid and she was very happy. Her happiness is all I care about, as you can see. It was probably also one of her happiest days too, I could tell. After all, she was a little mermaid too, as happy as can be, as well. My mermaid tail was made with green sequins. I remember that day with such frequence. The sun caught the sequins on my mermaid tail, and they shine like scattered emeralds. Picture on a big rock, just like Ariel, memories gather, never old. 2 years later, another birthday shines. 10 years old, where I was Rapunzel, such hair divines. And my dad dressed as Flynn Rider, boots of leather, vest of brown, and a satchel. His fashion's fire, causing desire. Now my birthdays do not have a princess theme. However, I carry the traits from every dream. All these memories have transformed me into being a princess. A nice person like Rapunzel, her action expressed. Like Cinderella, being delightful as well, respecting everyone and being smart like Belle. Being brave like Merida with a spirit of yell, and many other things like every single princess as well. Amazing memories with courage to excel, forever I will tell.
Isn't that beautiful? She's just telling a story of her birthdays and how beautiful it is to be with family. What a beautiful thing. And this is a young lady from Ecuador, and I'm just so grateful to have met them all the way in 2020 here, and their family. Beautiful family, big family. And that's what, Salty Coffee is pretty much about. I'm going to close it out on Stereo app. Now, if you want to continue looking at some clips, join in on YouTube. The link is right above my head on the Stereo app. And I will stay on YouTube and Facebook. So I'm hoping that you all on Stereo, thank you again for coming. Let's just see who was here. Info Pete, Black Casper, Livewire, Sloan, hello, Mountain Mama, Keen David, Faith, Athena, DJ Lord Shamik, I Am Saken, Twix Baby, Teresa, Scott, Roseanne, Joyce F, Buniana, Lamar, Mar, Shamar Allen, Ari, Fairy G, Poet, Shea Butter Airlines, Microphone Mike, Shonda Lulu, Greg from State Farm, that's funny, Torian, Lady Usurp, Shonda Lulu's, I said that, Sister Crystal, Yes Us, let's see, Uncle Leo, Hallis Hashim, Miss Cheesecake, Lamar J, Shasire, who else is here? Big Tam Tam, also known as Submissive Tammy, Hennessy Poppy, Kia the Key, author KF Goblin, let's see, Ron J, Detroit, King David Nature, AI Go Rhythm, Dr. Rainbow Pie, CW Productions, Queen Yu, Francis Pirosoli, Bree Talks, Williams Matthews, Mia, Benny, BX Blues, DD, G-Way, K, Brad, Crystal Talk, or should I say Chris Talk. Who else was here? A Western philosopher and thinker. Beautiful name. And myself. But yeah, thank you everyone from Stereo App. I'm now closing it and I will stay on the YouTube channel. So for those of you on the YouTube channel, Babes Unscripted, Care Builder, Shonda Lulu, Sister Crystal, Zakil, Teresa Scott, and I think that's Sister Crystal. All right. Let me make sure this is shut off completely on the Stereo app because you know how that works. But yeah, thank you again, everyone, for the 5, almost 6 wonderful years of experience of YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all of that other social media that pretty much are kind of like leaving today. But thank you again, everyone, for showing up, for bringing your talent, your thoughts, your comments, your thank you-ness of everything. And I really, truly appreciate it. May you all have a great day. I'm just going to go and start following up on some clips that haven't been played. Some of them are poetry. Some of them are just messages from people. And I'll still be here. You can still comment and thank you again. And make sure you just engage and hit me up if you need my personal information, if you don't have it, so that we can stay in touch. Like I said, July will be the shutting down of the webpage, the Stereo app, and all of my other content. But the podcast information will still be available and in public. On March 31st, 1989, I accompanied my mother to the hospital for a hernia removal surgery. Shortly after the anesthesia was administered, the doctor came back with the news that there were complications, and my mother had slipped into a coma. By April 12, 1989, the hospital determined that there was no hope and made the decision to pull the plug. At the time, I was just 19 years old and in my first year of college. I had to quit my part-time job and withdraw from school. The family had no financial means to cover the funeral expenses, and I had no savings or income to rely on. With the support of friends and family, I was able to start anew within a year. During my initial year of employment at Columbia University, I had the privilege of meeting exceptional colleagues who offered invaluable resources and guidance essential for a successful professional journey. Notably, Mr. Arthur Mack shared insights on investments, savings bonds, and tax deductions crucial for financial literacy. Sadly, the recent passing of Wilma Dunbar, a mentor in my personal life, left a profound impact. From the onset of my tenure at Columbia, she imparted knowledge on our bargaining agreement, shedding light on the ongoing struggle for human rights and gender equality. Our discussions underscored the progress made by women while emphasizing the need for continued advocacy and reform. My mission has been to empower women worldwide to discover their true identity through meaningful conversations and practical application of newfound knowledge. In pursuit of this goal, I established the Salty Coffee podcast and initiated a poetry contest in memory of my late mother. Her teachings on integrity, respect, and accountability resonate in my endeavors, emphasizing the importance of upholding one's word without causing harm to others, whether physically or emotionally. I want to thank all of those who participated in the contest and the audience for listening every Sunday on Self Care Sunday to Salty Coffee. Thank you all, and I love you.
Your angel eyes tell me not to doubt, but another story's going round all over town. Guess you think I'm blind, or maybe that I'm dumb, but in the end you know what goes will come around. We could have been doing just great, but you threw a good thing away. We're up, wanted me to love you. You're so out of line, and what am I to tell you? But you're out of time. Ain't got no illusion, we shouldn't lie. Your words they count for nothing, but you're out of time. Still out of time.
House. Got all these eyedroppers. Glass vial. And see all the water I got in my pan? I've got a lot of that dirt out of there, and I can help you get it to that stage. But you want to go in from the side, like this, with your eyedropper, and scoop it up, squirt it into your vial. Now, it's also bringing with it a lot of black sand, and that's magnetic iron. So you see the magnet I got up on that pan? You want to keep it up there so we don't lose it, but we can get some of that magnetic iron out. I'll double check my pan, then make sure that thing's filled up with water. Slide the magnet up the side, dip it into the top, and pull a lot of that magnetic iron out. Clean up your vial. And keep.
That was gold panning in Alaska, y'all. Alaska was amazing, but check this out.
Everybody ready? Feet up. Okay, same position with the left. So we're going in 3, 2, 1.
Yes! Woo! Yes!
I just went to Alaska to do that. That was the icy point, and it was a cruise, and I was by myself, and that's one of the encouragements that I have for you guys as podcaster. Like, really get out of your comfort zone and travel and just do the wildest, craziest things. You don't want to try this at home, but of course it looks scary. You heard me. Yes, yeah, I was nervous as heck. There was no helmet. There was like no like safety guards or anything. And I was just thinking, wow, if I just fall in the trees. But I don't think like that. So that was amazing. And here's another adventure.
I set out on a road that I built with my own 2 hands. I met friends on the way, people chosen to make a stand. I felt strong in the sun as I walked onto pastures green. Saw forgiveness together as spaces in between. And I'll be with you through the night. And I'll brought me to places I've never been. But you can walk through this world without a few punches upon your chin. I think I lost you somewhere between 20 and 23. But I still hold you dear despite the heartbreak you caused in me. 'Cause you were with me through my nights, and you filled the darkness with shining lights, yeah. Baby, we're children of summer, we're meant to be free. Honey, we're not like the others, no reason to be. Lady is far in our lives, so it's too hard to breathe. Lover, I live for the day you and I turn to me. I still think of you now, though my memories turning bleak. I'm still walking this road on my knees, they are ever so weak. I never thanked you for putting your faith on a bomb like me, yeah. And wherever you are, I think it's here you were meant to be. Baby, we're children of summer, we're meant to be free. Honey, we're not like the other, no reason to be.
It's never goodbye. It's see you later. Thank you all, and I love you all. Mwah.